Best time for caffeination is the nighttime. COFOH Live Undead. I am your host, Daniel Crosier, and I am joined by the amazing Krista Michaels.
Something on my face.
Krista, how are you?
Fantastic. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes. As I was saying, when we before we went on, we were talking about me coming across Mantid. I saw that it was playing at Rocky Mountain Nightmares. And went and found it on Troma now. What a great home for awesome films.
Hell yeah. Like I love Troma. Uncle Lloyd is like super supportive of the indie arts, and we have our first couple of short films are on there, and I love supporting him as much as he supports everyone else. So go check out Troma now.
For everybody out there, after this broadcast, make sure to go check it out on Troma now. But Mantid, and then you said your first film, is it One Monday, is also on there?
Right, yeah. One Monday is just a little 3-minute mental health awareness piece that we did during lockdown. Because we wanted to make a film. We were actually working on a script for something a little bit longer, still a short film. But when the lockdown happened and COVID and everything kind of messed up our plans, and we were depressed for a while, but we actually picked ourselves up, and we said we're going to make just a 3-minute piece in our apartment here in Denver. And so we did, and very proud of it. We had something nice to say, and it gave us the inspiration to do our next project. We just wanted to see, can we make something that was halfway cinematic? And I feel like we accomplished that. So, very excited.
That's cool. For those that aren't familiar with you, Krista, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where you come from and how you got into filmmaking?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm Krista Michaels. I am a transgender filmmaker, and I grew up in Southern Virginia. And it kind of got started in high school. I started doing behind-the-scenes stuff at theaters. I was a 35 millimeter projectionist at one point. I did sound design and poster design. I've always been into that world. Nice. Eventually, when I lived in Los Angeles, I started doing some behind-the-scenes extras, for a Blu-ray releasing company. So I worked on a couple of really cool slasher movies and some other obscure horrors. That was a lot of fun. But honestly, I've been wanting to make films since high school. I'm 36 now, so it took a really long time. But anybody out there who's an aspiring filmmaker, you can do it, and it's never too late. Just find the right time, the right projects. And one of the things that inspired me was when I was living in Los Angeles. I would say the first time about 2008, and this was prior to my transition even. I was with a friend. We were looking for a place to eat, and we looked in the local paper, and I had heard about this restaurant apparently run by Steven Spielberg's mom. Oh. And it was this little place called the Milky Way. Okay. And I was like, okay, well, let's just stop in there. I have no idea, I didn't know she would even be there. We stopped in one day, small little place, and she met us at the door and seated us. And I was freaking out because I was like, oh my God, that's her. I started looking around the room. And Spielberg is one of my heroes since childhood, you know.
Yeah.
Started looking around the room. I saw the actual Jaws clapperboard on the wall, like with the shark teeth that do like this.
Yep.
Posters of everything from Hook and Close Encounters, and unbelievable. Eventually, she served us our food. I think I ate and everything, and I finally built up the courage. I went up to her and I was like, "Hey, I'm a huge fan of your son, and I want to be a filmmaker myself." And I'm sure I was stuttering, super nervous, but she told me, she goes, "That's my little Steven. That's my little boy. I'm so proud of him." And she looked at me and said, I believe you can do it too.
Nice.
And, you know, I'll never forget that. Like, unfortunately, you know, she passed away several years ago now, but it's something small, but it stayed with me, and I knew I could do it. So I did. So
Yeah.
I'm very happy to have released 2 shorts now and working on our next feature. So that's where I'm at.
That's awesome. How, you know, like just those tiny little human moments, you know, can just light the fuse and watch, you know, help energize things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's all about the human connection, and that's what filmmaking is collaboration, and
Right.
it's never me, myself, and I. It takes a whole team. It takes a community to make anything happen, and you know, that's what I've been seeing with my latest project, The Girls, too. And so I'm super pumped just for, like, I'm getting emails from people like ready for post-production, like, "Hi, I have songs I want to lend you," or "I want to work on as a gaffer," or it's just really interesting stuff going on. So
That's cool. For, you know, yeah, you're starting to work on your first feature film, The Girls. Can you tell us about that? You know, what it's about and how it came to be?
yeah, absolutely. So I never wanted to make a trans-related film.
Mm-hmm.
It's an important topic to me, but you know, it just, I guess if it ever happened, I was waiting for the right project.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's been going on, politically speaking, in the news and on social media and everything lately has been pretty dire, pretty scary for a lot of LGBTQ people in general. And I started to take a look uh, at the trans films out there, and though there's some good ones, I don't want to make this sound bad, but nothing was like speaking to me personally. I wasn't seeing. I didn't want to do a trans film that was like another coming of age story, you know, where you're coming out to your family and friends and then having issues at work. And though there's a time and a place for that, there's some great films like that. I just feel like I've seen that. And if I were going to do this subject matter, I wanted to do something that spoke to me. So what am I inspired by? Are the exploitation films of the 70s and 80s, practical effects, sex, drugs, nudity, gore. I wanted to have fun. I wanted to show that trans people are real people that are interesting. So this film, The Girls, is about 3 trans women traveling cross country for a once-in-a-lifetime Halloween party. And something goes wrong at this party where they encounter 3 backwoods bigots, is what we're going with here.
Right.
And all right, so I'm sorry, it's 4 trans women. These are trans women that they've been out for a while. They're just enjoying their lives. I just wanted to show how human we are, and funny and creative and sexy, and that we can be. And I think it's such a fun project to work on. You know, as soon as we started diving into it with my co-writers, Brandy Bryant and Jessica D'Amelio, we just had a blast, like writing all the way through. And we have another draft coming that I'm super excited about. And yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. But that's basically that's how it got started. So
That's awesome. Yeah, my experience watching trans representation in film, you know, and even like in horror or like suspense films too often made out to be like, you know, some kind of villain. And yeah, it really does need to be, you know, a lot more of you know, positive representation, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, so many times, yeah, there's so many opportunities, like, yeah, trans people can be heroes too. They're just like everybody else. They want to have a good time.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And, everybody's always saying detractors are like, okay, so stop trying to like shove your lifestyle or your agenda or your characters into our movies, make your own. And so that's what I did. I'm going to make my own. Yeah. And if they have a problem with that, and they will, let's be real. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm ready for it because it's just going to put more eyes on the project. So let's go.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. My hat's off, to you, for taking that step. And I'll be there, ready to buy my first ticket to go see your film.
So yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. For everybody that's out there watching, there is an Indiegogo campaign that's going for this for the girls right now. It's the link is scrolling down below. You can do a screen grab of that. It's also in the comment section too, almost to the very top. So when you get a chance, go and support fantastic filmmaking and great art and great storytelling. And, from a perspective too, that I think we need to see more of. But yeah, that sounds absolutely amazing. I wanted to, kind of go back just a second and talk a little bit about Mantid and what that's about. I wanted to bring up some of the poster art too, because the poster is fantastic in that it really grabbed my eye. So let me take this down real quick and then pop this up. Yeah, you got that Rosemary's Baby type feel to it with a nice mantis legs sticking out of the bassinet. But can you talk to us a little bit about Mantid and where that came from?
Sure. Yeah. I guess I'll start with the poster. First of all, that poster and the art for the girls also were done by my girlfriend, Brandy Bryant, who's also the writer on the film.
Nice.
Yeah, I love Rosemary's Baby. It's funny, I didn't even think about that at the time. I had this image, the first image I had was of a mantid looking over a cradle. Right. And so I drew a storyboard of this and everything came from that. I'll try to post that on social later. But
cool.
Yeah, so I'm really into ufology. And we've all seen like the disturbing horror stories like, Fire in the Sky and all those movies with like the scary gray aliens, which I think most people are familiar with. But there are people out there who have claimed to have either, witnessed or been abducted by by these praying mantis-like beings. And I found that really interesting. I was reading a lot of stories from people who claim these incidents happened, and they seem very sincere. Whether you believe it or not, I was just interested in the topic. And so I was laying in bed one night, and that's what I like to do when I come up with horror movies is like, what scares me?
Yeah.
What am I interested in long term? Because working on a film is very difficult, and you have to, stay with it long term. I love aliens, and so I started thinking about what's scarier than a gray alien at the foot of my bed is a giant bug. A giant praying mantis terrifies me, and I'd never seen that on screen the way I would do it, at least. And so I wanted to explore that. And my girlfriend Brandy Bryant, she did all the practical effects. She built this giant puppet and with the claws and everything, working mandibles, and yeah, it was pretty like shocking to walk in before we started filming. Just seeing this thing late at night, you just see the silhouette in the front room. As we're going to grab a drink from the fridge or whatever. But
yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
That sounds so intense. I flip out when my girlfriend's mannequin is just like sitting there around the corner downstairs, and I forget to turn on the light. I've tripped once and almost fell really hard. So I can imagine just seeing the outline of a giant.
Yeah. I mean, it's as large as a human, so it looks like someone or something is standing there. So
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Wow. Yeah, well, and you know, when you get that silhouette too, like silhouettes are so iconic. You know, once you got that,
Yeah.
you know, you got magic in a bottle.
Yeah. And
You
I love dark lighting anyways. I mean,
know,
my team gets on me for every time we light anything, even interviews. I'm like darker, darker. I really love shadows. I feel like a lot of movies today are overlit, and I mean, it's subjective, but I grew up with a lot of movies where you can just barely make out something coming out of a shadow, and that's what scared me. And so,
right?
you know, the imagery of like a mantid sticking his head out of the closet was one of the first things I thought of. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that sounds freaky as hell. Oh man, I wouldn't want to be at that house. Um, you know, it's one thing to have like Michael Myers with the mask on, but it's yeah, it's still it's the shape of a man, you know, versus fucking mantis. God damn.
yeah, yeah. And you know, Michael Myers was. I'm big into slashers too, and so that's one of the big inspirations on the girls as well, like old like 80s slasher films.
Yeah.
I'm big into those because Michael Myers scared me a lot when I was a kid. That shot, you know, when Laurie Strode is like looking out the window and he's down by the clothesline, you know, that freaked me out. And I think it was more so her performance as an actress, just
Yeah.
the way she was scared, it made me scared. And
Right.
yeah, I love that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right too. Like, yeah, had she responded something different, like, you know, I mean, granted, we're in a comedy, same scene. He's standing out there and stuff, but you know, she could just be laughing or something. It's like, look at this asshole with the mask on, you know, and then
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've seen that meme out there that's, you know, she's looking out the window and then Michael Myers is out there. I think he's like playing cards or raking the lawn, and then Jason Voorhees joins her, and it's really hysterical little piece
yeah,
someone made. But
yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, you know, growing up, you know, was Halloween like one of your big influences?
oh, definitely. Well, anything John Carpenter,
Hmm.
for sure. Yeah, but it mostly scared me. You know, Child's Play 2, particularly Halloween, a lot of Nightmare on Elm Street. These movies scared me a lot, and it took me several years to get over them.
Oh,
I used to check under my bed every day for Chucky. You know, I when I was little, I was so terrified. But as I got over it, I started like, you know how you like if you have a fear of dogs, and you know if you want to get used to it, you have to spend time around dogs, and that's the same thing with horror films. And so now it's my favorite genre of film. So
yeah,
that's
that's
what
cool. Yeah, yeah, you know, you, you know, once you realize you know you've got some kind of you know phobia, yeah, just like you said, you know, sticking around with that, you know, brings that anxiety down. You know, the more you do it, the more the more used to it you get. I yeah, I used to do that a lot with films that I thought were you know pretty were going to be you know pretty taboo and offensive, like something like Human Centipede or something as god awful as like Serbian film. Jeez,
yeah.
you know, but those are the ones that like yeah, okay, I've seen it, done, don't need to go back. You know, yeah,
Right. And now, like, I mean, I think a lot of horror fans can relate. Like, we're constantly, you know, it's like chasing the dragon,
oh
constantly
yeah,
looking for the next scare, the next scream. And I guess it doesn't do it for me like they used to. Like The Exorcist used to scare me a lot, and now it doesn't scare me as much. So mostly because I look at the filmmaking. I'm looking for the effects. I love the camera work, the lighting. I'm constantly looking for that stuff.
you're looking at the you know the ways that they tell the story, all the tools and the technical prowess. I do the same thing too. I'm you know if it can grab me and take me along for the ride and I get lost in the story, great. But then you know the ones that I really you know love that I you know grew up with that got its anchors deep inside me from the get go. You know now I do watch those to see how they're made and you know what kind of shots that they do and how things are you know lit. You were talking about like creatures coming out of the darkness, like Alien
Oh
does
yeah.
that so
Oh yeah. Yeah.
well.
I love that movie.
Oh,
It's so good, so effective.
yeah.
You know, some of the best effects are the cheapest things, or the simplest things to pull off. I mean, it
Yeah.
probably wasn't simple for the crew, but you know what I'm saying. They weren't these huge contraptions always. So
Right. I always feel like there's something missed amongst so many of these like CG generated films. Not everyone. I think there's like there's that Netflix film, The Ritual, where the creature reveal at the end is just outstanding and bonkers. And most of that is a mixture of practical and CG.
oh, yeah,
But you see
some of the best stuff.
yeah, you see some of these like larger film fairs, like the current crop of Alien films where most of that CG. It's just like, man, it just doesn't do it for me anymore. I already know what the creature looks like.
I think there's a time and a place. I I like a lot of CG. I'm personally not going to use a whole lot of it in my personal films,
Right.
unless I absolutely have to. I mean, there's certain things you know, if it's there, it can definitely aid us. But something like Jurassic Park has been talked about a lot because it's so effective mixing practical and CG.
Yeah.
To really, like, still, it's some of the most amazing effects I've ever seen. So even it looks better than the newer Jurassic World movies, in my opinion. So
I would agree. I think a big part of it too was how it was shot. It was because it just feels like you know you know you're coming from the perspective of like you're the small human, and you got these majestic, amazing animals that you're coming into, and along with that is the terror. So it's like it's always from like the ground up, that you're looking. And then I noticed
yeah,
with a lot of the new like Jurassic World, it's you're kind of looking down at these creatures, and they're perfected, almost to the point where it's starting to feel like uncanny valley type stuff. And there's just like it's really really hard to get me engaged.
yeah. I think a lot of it too has to do with the lack of focus. There's so much going on, and at times
Yeah,
it can be incredible, but it's a bit overwhelming. Whereas, like, Spielberg in the original really
yeah.
set the stage, like when the T-Rex came, and the scene with the Jeep and everything. That's what you were focused on. You weren't turning away for anything else.
No,
So
no, that grabbed my attention. Kind of the same way like Jaws and Close Encounters. That he did. Really grabbed my imagination. E.T. was the one that I screamed the loudest in as a kid.
screen, because you were scared or just cheering along.
Yep, I was. E.T. scared the shit out of me as a kid.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
in the theater, the scene where Elliot and E.T. run into each other in the cornfield and they scream at each other. They run in opposite directions. I screamed with them.
Yeah, well, they do such a good job with making you identify with Elliot,
Yeah,
and it's like you feel everything through his persona the same way that he feels everything through ET in the film. It's
yeah,
kind of interesting in that way. So in a way, the viewer feels everything with ET as well. It's there's not too many films like that, in my opinion, where that I've seen that. Wow, but I mean, by the end of the movie, your heart is like breaking.
uh-huh.
It's such a great film.
It very much is. I still tear up when it's E.T. at the end there, and then he kind of dies, and then luckily you're rejuvenated because he comes back. It's like, oh, who knew he was the Christ character? But I was so glad that happened as a kid. Yeah. The funny thing is too, and I got to comment on this is, and I'm totally my mom's kid, but like Paddington 2 is another one that makes me just tear up. And my girlfriend, the final scene of the film, she can just set a clock and I just start, the waterworks start up. And it's
Awesome.
absolutely hilarious, but it's such a sweet film.
Oh yeah, yeah. One for me is a never-ending story. Where
Oh
with the
yes.
horse. Yes, another great practical effects movie. Wow, but
So good.
I love
So
all
good.
that.
Yeah, I just watched that again on a plane ride. I think of all places to Cincinnati.
Nice.
Yeah, but God, what a great movie. Kind of thinking on the girls too. The way you describe it, it really sounds like it's it almost sounds like there's. I mean, there's the horror aspect, but with these four friends, it sounds like there's like this potential for like kind of that Scooby and the Gang, type of adventure as well. I might be projecting, but it sounds like such a fun premise, and then how things kind of turn dark and monstrous later on in your script.
Yes.
I can't wait to see how that's approached and handled.
Yeah. So I mean, it starts off with these four trans women, and they go to this party, and we're going to have a lot of people there. So they're going to meet allies that may or may not, meet up at later points in the film to help them. So it is very much like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. We just want to show badass women on screen and kick ass. I mean, they're, as they say, you have to put your character up in a tree and then throw apples at them for a little bit.
right.
But one
Right.
thing, I think is by Act 3, it's going to be a lot of fun just to see the audience cheer because they know that the revenge is coming.
Good.
And, I can't wait to write more of that in the next draft and film that. I'm so excited. So we have some great things planned.
That's always something with like a horror genre is, terrible things happen to, good people. Terrible things also happen to really bad people. And, that's when I don't really, care too much. But, at the end of it, it's like, man, you get that like kind of that letdown. And that's just part of sometimes with some horror films is that trope where, no, bad things happen and it just gets worse. And, everybody dies or, nothing good comes of it. But I always love it when, especially in horror genre, when the actual bad guys, get their comeuppance.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I think a lot of our real life anger towards everything going on in the world has,
Right.
gone into this film. And I'm not really that political of a person. So I get out my anger through art. So, yeah, a lot of that is me and my co-writers coming through the characters. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun to, get revenge on these guys that we've created. Certainly, it's not our place to do that in real life or anything, but
Right. But yeah, that's the beauty of like filmmaking and art, is good storytelling, but also, kind of putting up that mirror to reflect, the world.
yeah, some people are great at real life activism, and other people are just artists, and we're all born differently. And I mean, that's really just part of the film, honestly.
Right.
So there, I see a lot of real life bigots who don't seem to have a lot of motivation for what they're doing or saying. They're drawn to bad things, Nazism even. It's really sad. I think a lot of people get sucked down these rabbit holes, whether it's through online media or I have no idea what it is, but there's just so much hatred and vitriol these days.
Right.
And I just wanted to show a group of women who are full of love. I mean, they love each other. They're very catty sometimes, and they love to talk shit, but it's all in good fun.
That's cool. Yeah, I want to go ahead and throw up the artwork for the girls real quick, and then talk a little bit about the talent that you've pulled together for the film. Let me bring up the girls poster. This is an awesome poster. When I first saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody's gonna make a practical effects like Cthulhu-esque type, because when I see tentacles, I always that's my go-to, right? But yeah, that it's pretty striking, just like the Mantid poster. But yeah, can you talk about some of the talent that you've pulled together for the film?
Yeah, so we have, first of all, playing the role of Pixie, one of the four girls, is writer Avalon. And I had her in mind when I was writing the script. I've met her several times in real life, and just a really cool, talented girl, a musician, a model. And I just kept thinking of her every single time I started writing for this character, Pixie. She was the first one that I had cast. And recently we have announced MMA fighter Alana McLaughlin as Ash.
Cool.
This is our like tough character, the one who's very protective of the girls. Very fun. Doesn't quite get the jokes or the ways of the other girls, but when shit hits the fan, she'll be first in line to step up. Today we just announced our lead, you could say final girl, Luna. And this is a girl named Sarabella Dofire. She sent in an audition. We did an open audition, by the way.
Oh, cool.
For a second, just because. So a lot of trans women and men and non-binary people don't really have a lot of opportunities in work anyways, just in mainstream 9-to-5 work. Much less opportunities to be in a film. So when I first announced the open casting call, I got a lot of messages, emails and everything. And they were like, so this is the open casting call. Is this for me? Do I have to be an actor? Do I have to have an IMDb already? And I'm like, no, this is for everybody.
Yeah.
I wanted an opportunity to give LGBTQ people in general a chance to be a part of something that I feel really strongly about. And some of the auditions we got were incredible.
Cool.
This one from Sarabella Dofire, though, was so unique. And we were 5 seconds in. My producer and I were watching it, and we were just like, wow, stop right there. I'm in.
Yeah.
And so we got her we've been doing some Zoom call auditions, and she just blew us away with, her acting abilities and her range. And so excited for her to play our lead girl. So we still have one more girl for the role of Dahlia that we're going to announce pretty soon.
Cool.
So hopefully in the next week. But
with that, you already made the decision and just are waiting to announce, or you're still kind of thinking on
it? We pretty much made the decision at this point. So yeah, looking forward to that. So we have one of the three bigots that we can talk about. Mm-hmm. We have Jonathan Lee Foster. He's actually my brother. A lot of people don't know that, but he's going to play the role of Bull, who's this really big, silent type, really scary. He's kind of like the strong arm.
Yeah.
I've been promising my brother for years that if I ever, we have this running joke. He's like, if you ever make this like a Bigfoot movie or a very Jason Voorhees inspired film, anything, I want to play the bad guy. I want to be your slasher killer. And so I kept my promise. I was like, yeah, let's have you play Bull.
That's cool.
Yeah. So a lot of the roles, it's so complicated because of the recent SAG strike. We were in talks with some SAG actors, and I'm hoping that we can still work with them, either after the strike ends, or we're currently looking into the waiver that they're offering as well for independent films.
Okay.
And so I have a couple of people in mind that I can't wait to work with and announce, and some of the people involved are so excited, and we are just so excited, and I think people's minds are going to be blown.
That's awesome. Yeah
That's all I can say at this point.
No, that's cool. Hey, yeah, I'm a big fan of this stuff, so I can't wait to see those announcements come out, and hopefully, yeah, the union strikes, they reach some kind of settlement, that.
Yeah. And
that really.
I don't want to make this about me or the project. I fully support the strikes for SAG-AFTRA as well as the WGA.
Yeah, me too.
You know, which is easy for me because I've always been anti-Hollywood. So I don't really, I'm not big into like billionaire executives to begin with, but the things that they've done and said recently with the AI and just like actors losing their houses and everything that's come out is like unbelievable and totally against that. So
yeah, it's anti-human. You know, it's just
right. Yeah,
it's absolutely disgusting. The this last weekend, Elise and I we went and saw Joe Bob Briggs at Scream Screen at the C Center, and somebody was bringing that up, and he pointed out, and it's like, he was asking, well, what do you think about Hollywood kind of, he's like, going away? Good, that's fine. There'll always be filmmakers. There'll always be, storytellers. The ones I celebrate, usually aren't part of that union or that scene. They're out there dredging it, and they're the ones that need the most support.
Yeah. And I've seen some horrible comments just on scrolling through social media from just your average person, and a lot of them are just mean, but I think a lot of people are misguided because they'll think about Tom Hanks or any of these big actors or actresses, and they'll say, oh, what do they need more money for? And I think they don't understand that there's a lot of working actors out there who I forget the percentage, but it was an incredible amount of people who couldn't even afford health care because you have to make a certain amount per year. They struggle with food and bills and everything else that everyone else does. I mean, these are regular people who are working actors. Yep. And they do deserve their residuals and to be treated properly. And this whole AI thing is crazy. Like, there's no reason that you should be scanned. I think it was something like you get scanned as a background actor, right? And then they can use you forever and pay you once.
Yeah.
So
that's the idea that you could, your likeness could be owned into perpetuity is disgusting. I mean, no artist would want that. So why would your for their art, which so much of what AI is based off of that. So why would an individual, sign that away for $200 a day, for a day rate, one time? It's disgusting, and I wouldn't want to be owned by Disney. Ugh.
No, that sounds horrible. I mean, they can't treat their properties they own with respect. How would they treat people with respect? I mean,
right, very much so. With the girls too, you have an amazing composer. I think lined up as well. Can you talk a little bit about him?
Yes, we have Simon Boswell attached, and if you don't know Simon Boswell, just go check out his IMDb right now. It's fantastic. He's done some amazing stuff, like Stage Fright. Yeah. He started off like working with Argento and Goblin on Phenomena, and incredible stuff out there. So, we are so excited for that. I'm a big fan of music, and I can't wait to hear what he comes up with.
Yeah.
I think he's already like coming up with stuff maybe, or thinking about things, because he likes to read the script and then start working right away, I guess.
Nice.
But he really liked our script, and he jumped on right away, like when we told him the concept, because there's not much out there like that. And one of the things that we wanted to do was have a real score with like somebody incredible. Like, I didn't think we would get Simon, but I'm blown away that we did. But because I think LGBTQ people deserve a real film. Yep. And that's not to say that other films I've seen are not real. That's not what I mean. It's just I wanted to do the best that I could. I wanted to. We've already discussed with Simon that we want some really epic theme songs, and he's done some like really epic Western stuff in the past too. So I really I'm just inspired by all sorts of genres of film and music alike. So it's very important to me that it stands up to like the imagery that I have in mind. So,
oh man, this is sounding amazing, and you know, it's like, yeah, it's kind of like an onion. You know, it's so many amazing layers to it. You know, yeah, I can't wait to to see this. You know, and then of course, I've got to talk about my friend Adam Dougherty with Creature Kid. You got him on board. You know, that guy is just amazing. You know, he's
yeah. I went to the Creature Kid studios a few times, and the things I saw, and unfortunately I could never talk about it. You know, it's all under wraps, but the things I saw just were mind blowing. I knew instantly I wanted Creature Kid on this project. And he's excited to do like creatures on our film and practical effects and very like for our kills. I don't. There's like this thing I always talk about where like a lot of films today will have like a guy running after you with an axe, and it's just an extended shot of a guy chopping up people with an axe, which is fun. I like that, but I prefer like the old school like Tom Savini magic trick type kills, you know, as you would see in Friday the 13th. And so that's what we're going for on this film as well.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. When I think of Tom Savini, I think of, poor Kevin Bacon and the arrow going through him.
Yes. Yes. I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So we have so many exciting kills that I'm just excited about. I love writing kills, especially. So we just want people to have fun. You know, it's not just a big political piece. It's just a movie. We want people to have a good time at the movies. So.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so cool. You know, Krista, this sounds absolutely amazing. I'm so excited for you and to see what you and your production team comes up with. When do you think you guys are going to be able to go into production?
Well, so we're currently raising funds for the Indiegogo. Assuming that all that goes well, we're just going to continue either way, but we always planned sometime in November to start shooting parts of like the exterior full shots for that reason, because we wanted the color leaves and like this amazing scenery. We're planning to shoot on 35 millimeter film also.
Wow. That's awesome.
And yeah, I'm stoked about that. So, and a lot of stuff can be indoors or like on sets that we plan to build, so we can shoot that, going through the next year. But we've always planned to have this film ready by the fall festival 2024 season. So,
wow, that sounds wonderful. Yeah, I can't, and for everybody that's out there, make sure you go to the Indiegogo. The link is scrolling down below you, and it's in the comment section. And you've got a number of amazing incentives too. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we have all sorts of starting off at the lower end. Well, actually, starting off with no incentives like that. If you can't afford to contribute, or just in a bad place, you can always just share the message, retweet us, and just try to support us in any way you can. We appreciate that. And starting at the lower end, we have digital scripts, we have posters and all kinds of artwork. Then we get into t-shirts, and there's a swag package with all sorts like posters. And as you climb up, you can come on there's a special thanks credit. You'll be in the film. There's a associate producer package. There's an executive producer package, where you'll get to come out to the VIP premiere. There's a rap party, all sorts of things. So go check it out on Indiegogo.
Nice. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, everybody out there, go to Indiegogo, support the girls. God.
Yes.
Damn it, bring it to fruition. Man, that sounds absolutely wonderful. This is my type of film, I can't wait to see it. And my hat's off to you. Filmmaking such a huge endeavor. You talked a little bit about it takes so many people and so many talents, and it really does take a village. And you as director, co-writer, producer, and all that. That's so many hats that you have to wear and so many roles you have to juggle.
Right. Yeah. I can't. I'm having such a hard time even getting into the directorial aspects of this, like in terms of like my shot lists and storyboards and everything, because I've been producing a lot with my co-producer Blair Hawkins, who is awesome, by the way, and been writing tons of emails, making phone calls, and just really trying to make this happen, not only for this project, but just I want to help other people. I'm trying to I really like the idea of like hiring other people who, want to work on something like this. There's a lot of people who love film, are big fans of film, don't know how to get started, don't know that, have never touched a camera in their lives, but they want to come on as a PA or just to learn, and I think that's really fantastic. So I'm excited to help people. I'm excited for people to help me because I'm still learning. So.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. It sounds like it's one of those projects that can really kind of spark a wonderful creative community.
Definitely. Yeah, I've already met so many amazing people, and you can't do it alone. I mean,
No.
When I was in high school, I'm glad I didn't start then because I was very much a loner. I'm an introvert by nature, and I've learned to open up and collaborate. And there's 3 co-writers on this project, so we had a lot of fun. And I know a lot of people have a hard time writing with someone else, but I wrote with 2 other people, and we're all very happy with the direction it's going. And everyone we bring on, I just it's been so cool because one of the things I wanted to do from the beginning was have everybody on set just be like a family. I wanted everybody to feel like they're part of it, right down to the caterer. If that person has an idea, I'm all ears. So I just wanted to make the best project, and it's our fun. So
that's awesome. It's very endearing too. So I think that's what the world needs more of. Fantastic art, by from fantastic people with fantastic voices. That's cool. Looks like, do we have a comment that came in? Oh yeah, Jason said word.
Word.
Thanks, short and to the point, I guess. But Krista, we're about out of time. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you want to remark about?
I just want to motivate people to make their own films, and don't be scared to go out there and just grab your phone. Seriously, I know that's like a tired thing to say, but seriously, just there's this amazing editing equipment at your fingertips. You can do CGI at home now, even if you need to. Look for other people in your local communities. Go on Facebook if you have to. Find other filmmakers and collaborate, because if you try to do everything yourself, you may have luck, but I doubt you'll get very far. So, connect with other awesome people and start. You don't have to jump right into a feature. You can do a short film. I started with the 3-minute short. Then I moved on to I think it's a 12 or 13-minute short, and now we're working on a feature.
Nice.
So it's one step at a time.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Krista, it's been an honor to be able to chat with you about your creative process and your work, and thanks for being so generous with your time. But again, everybody out there, go to Indiegogo, support Krista and her team's amazing effort, and this is how amazing art comes about, with the community. Krista, stick around for a few minutes while we sign off. But again, thanks for being so generous with your time.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Cool. And then to everybody that tuned in, thanks so much, guys. And to our sponsors, the Mutiny Information Cafe. If you're going to start a revolution, make sure you're caffeinated. And to our friends at Hellfire Entertainment, thanks for rebroadcasting us on your social media. To Groovy TV. And of course, to Alien Donut Films and Angela Joseph Productions, to Bill and Angela over there, respectively. Thanks for helping us out. And of course, to my producers, Lily Fisher, Amanda Armstrong, and Stephen Santa Cruz. Thanks so much, guys. And to everybody out there, be good, be kind, help each other out during tough times, and stay spooky, everybody. Have a good night.